Speaking exam tips. The oral part of the C1 level Maturita exam usually consists of 3 parts that include various topics. 1. Oral performance based on visual stimulus or stimuli. You will be asked to compare and contrast pictures, diagrams, graphs, or other visual stimuli. What is tested?
Content, fluency of speech, logical sequencing of speech, adequate usage of language at the C1 level.
2. Discussion. You will be asked to discuss with your partner, the teacher, a particular issue specified in the instructions. You will be asked to explain your opinion on the issue. What is tested?
The way the student argues and explains his attitude towards a certain topic. Choice of facts and information. Grammar. Quality of the content. Fluency of speech. Adequate choice of vocabulary. Pronunciation.
3. Simulation. You will be asked to react to a given situation presented in the instructions. You will try to say what you would do if. Or role play. You will be asked to play a given role in a dialogue with a partner, the teacher, specified in the instructions. You will present an opinion specified in a role given to you, which may not necessarily be your own opinion. What is tested? Choice and adequate usage of language at the level of C1 in a specific situation from everyday life.
Readiness to react.
Time, 20 minutes for preparation and 20 minutes for the exam. Before speaking, make notes about each of the visual stimuli given. Do not write whole phrases, but only points. You certainly know something about the topic from your previous studying. Write the key words down, but connect them to the given task so that they are not just general ideas about the topic. It is useful to write useful phrases, to describe, compare and contrast pictures, to lead a conversation, and to express opinion. And linking words, for example, moreover, nevertheless. Linking words will help you connect ideas. Make sure you do not spend too much time preparing one part. Divide the allocated 20 minutes evenly between all 3 parts. Read carefully the instructions given in the speaking test and by the examiner. If you do not understand something, simply ask politely if they could repeat the instructions. They will not penalize you for doing so. Stick to the instructions. Do you need to describe or also compare and contrast something? Do you need to say whether you agree with a given opinion of someone, or do you need to express your own opinion, or both? If you need to express your opinion, try to give as many reasons for it as you can. While speaking, reformulate the given task. Do not just read it. Use phrases like, in the given task we are supposed to. In this task there are 3 pictures we're supposed to describe, and find similarities. Divide your speech into an introduction, a body, and a conclusion, just like you do when you're writing. Finally, always conclude with your ideas and restate your arguments. Comparing and contrasting pictures. Introduction 1. Say whether the picture is a photograph, a painting, a drawing, a poster, a doodle, and try to estimate who the author could be. It looks like a poster. It was probably made by a young person. This photo could have been taken by... 2. Describe the setting. This picture was probably taken in or at a place, on, during, time. Body. 3. Describe what you can see. Describe the topic it illustrates. For example, environmental issues, intercultural issues, generation gaps. Try to remember what you've read about the topic before and what you think of it. Compare and contrast the pictures. In contrast to the first picture, when compared to the first picture, this one seems to. Whereas, while, likewise, by contrast, nevertheless, a more subtle difference is, a striking difference is. You may find it useful to use some of the phrases for advantages and disadvantages, pros and cons, pluses and minuses, benefits, drawbacks, positives and negatives, upsides and downsides. Say, what it reminds you of. It strongly reminds me of, when I was a child, I also... How it makes you feel. This picture makes me feel... It leaves me with a good or a bad impression. What the intention of the author could have been. I think that the author wanted to express... I would say that the author wanted to illustrate... I guess the author intended to... The author points out or focuses on... The author probably wanted to make us think about... Conclusion. Conclude your ideas. Read the instructions again. What were you expected to do? Summarize it. Remember to talk about all the pictures. Do not talk about one picture too much and about the others very little. Contrast the pictures. Do not only describe them. React to your teacher's questions. Don't repeat the same phrase over and over again. Dialogue. Try to open the dialogue using the phrases you've prepared. Listen to the teacher and react. Do not lead a monologue. It's a dialogue. Outline what your opinion is when you're asked to. List your arguments. If you do not understand one of your examiner's questions, don't be afraid to ask the examiner to reformulate it in English. I'm not quite sure what you mean. Could you reformulate it, please? Remember that the examiners are interested in hearing how good your English is. Do not worry if the points you make are not necessarily deeply original. It is a language test, not an intelligence test. If, while speaking, you realize that you need a word you do not know or cannot remember at that moment, do not panic. Try paraphrasing what you wanted to say or find an easier way of saying it. Do not ask in Slovak. It is natural that you may feel stressed when speaking. This is normal, and the examiners will not penalize you for that and will understand exam conditions make speaking harder. Using phrases that buy you time while speaking can be useful and allow you some time to organize your thoughts. In fact, let me see, try not to speak in a monotone. If you happen to go off the topic, say back to the topic and continue. Do not rush your speech unnecessarily. Allow yourself to speak at a normal speed, which will also ensure you do not make unnecessary mistakes. Training speaking before the test. It's not easy to train speaking if you live in a non-English speaking environment. Try to use as many opportunities to speak in your English lessons as you can, and don't be lazy to speak. Have regular conversations in English with your peers who are also preparing for the exam. You may find it useful to use some of the phrases for comparing and contrasting pictures and phrases for expressing your opinion, asking for your partner's opinion, agreeing, disagreeing politely, disagreeing strongly, giving reasons and arguments, referring to others' opinions, recommending, suggesting ideas, remembering, calming, making generalizations, correcting, speculating, clarifying and rephrasing, negotiating. Don't forget about linking words. They will help you connect ideas. You can find a list of all of these, including cliches and idioms, in the Yes C1 textbook at the end of every speaking section.